Yeah.
Welcome back to a brand new season of Teen Innovators. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Matilda.
And we are so excited to launch this next chapter of our podcast. Teen Innovators is where young minds, big ideas, and bold creativity meet. This season, we're spotlighting the voices and stories behind youth entrepreneurship, and we're kicking it off with a very special guest. We're thrilled to invite Court, CEO of RHS TV, a visionary media leader, and an entrepreneur in his own right, and he's giving platforms to programs such as SharkMakers. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thanks for
Court.
having me.
First, what's your occupation? More so, what do you do and what's it all about?
My occupation. So I'm the CEO of CP Communications, which also has Red House Holdings, Red House Streaming, and RHS TV. And what we are is we're a media company. All right, we provide engineering solutions for the broadcasters. We have studios, and we also do live streaming.
Very interesting. That's amazing to hear. You know, we were looking at the setup today, and we can tell it's got a great vibe going here.
Good.
So.
Good. Love a good vibe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we know that you were a judge last season
I
for
was.
the NGT 360,
Yeah.
now SharkMakers.
Now SharkMakers.
Finalists.
Yeah.
So, what were you thinking going into that experience?
I had no idea what I was getting into. Robin asked me to be a judge after we had gone to a couple of your pre-events, and then Robin asked me to be a judge, and I said okay. And like tonight, just gonna wing it, gonna figure out what we're doing. But no, it was really coming out of it. Going into it was, I thought it was a little bit different than I thought, in that the judging and how the criteria of judging was, in my mind, one way, but really it was different when we got there. So after the session and going into the next session, the final judging, I really understood what I was getting into. And it's pretty cool. It's really cool.
It's awesome seeing it from the other side of the judging panel.
Yeah.
So now we mentioned a little bit the rebranding now to SharkMakers.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How excited are you?
I think it's great. I mean, rebranding is absolutely fantastic. NGT 360 has a good track record, but not really a brand, right? It's very hard to brand something called NGT 360, right? What does it mean? You know what SharkMakers means. So the branding is fantastic.
Absolutely. And I know, like, as a media company, it's definitely probably important to have a good understanding of branding, I'm sure. So
Marketing and branding, absolutely.
Yeah, so, going back also to last season, coming out of that, now RHS TV is partnered clearly with SharkMakers.
Yep.
Thank you again for hosting our mentor kickoff. But how did kind of that experience coming out of being a judge and change your mentality and encourage you to partner sort of with SharkMakers this year?
Well, so what we wanted to do was we looked at what last year, and we said, how do we make it better? And Tony Green and Robin and I sat down along with my staff and said, how do we make this better? How do we make it a production, okay? How do we bring what I call a docu-series to life, okay? So this is gonna document what your road is, your path, your success, your failures. It'll allow you to go back and look at it. It'll be, it's really great to have video of how you progress during the season, right? And so this is similar to what we did on RHS TV called Live Play Workshop, where we took bands, young kids, and created bands. They'd never played together before, and we followed them around for 8 weeks, and the final was that they were a band and they actually played a live concert. So kind of similar in that we're going to follow you around. We're going to go to each one of the meetings, right? The mentor meetings, and then we're going to get to the final, and then we're going to stitch it all together, and we're going to have a series. And I think that it'll draw a lot of awareness to SharkMakers.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. It's definitely an amazing journey, and you seem to have kind of seen so many angles of it. So what advice would you give to some teens wanting to either join SharkMakers or just overall turn their ideas into businesses?
Never give up on your ideas, right? Always, if you have an idea, maybe 100 other people have that same idea. But the only way that your idea is going to come to life is through execution. You have to execute. You have to execute your ideas. Don't be afraid of failure, right? If failure is going to happen, you learn from failures, and then you don't do it again. But execution and striving for excellence. Just try to be as good as you can be. You can't be perfect, but you can strive for excellence.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think people, I've noticed, I always see people in my school, they're like, oh, I have this problem, I have that problem, but it's great to have a program like SharkMakers and be able to document that progress, because it's actually about taking those problems and turning it from discussion into actual action, as you're talking about.
And it's exciting to be able to do that, right? I mean, it's going to bring, again, awareness to the program, and it gives you guys something to look forward to. You know, it's exciting. Like, you're actually going to be in a video series.
Yeah,
So,
I like
you know.
understanding like the progress that people make from beginning of season to end to beyond is like so difficult to do without being able to kind of literally have video footage almost of
Correct.
that starting moment and kind of like before and after. So definitely a great opportunity to also see growth from everybody. Yeah.
There's an old saying in television: if it isn't on video, it didn't happen. So. And again, this will give you a great opportunity to go back and look at it, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go back and look at it, you can learn more. Every time I read books, and sometimes I'll read a book 2 or 3 times because I miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
So have you ever watched a bunch of movies, right? You watch a movie and then you go back and watch it again, and you saw something different, right?
Absolutely.
Same thing with this.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. There's definitely so much to it. So just kind of to tie it all together, we wanted to ask what innovation means to you.
Innovation, I think, again, it's going back to execution. You know, being able, innovation is forward thinking out of the box. I know everybody uses that term, right? Think out of the box, think out of the box. But don't be afraid to think and again, make mistakes. Innovators make mistakes. You know, it's not perfect. You know, it doesn't come out, oh my God, I did this, but just constantly thinking of ways to make things better. Way to make things easier. You know, there's that old saying, work smarter, not harder, right? That's an innovator. We're going to try to work smarter, not harder. And we're going to look at problems. Innovators are problem solvers.
Yeah.
That's really what innovation is to me, problem solving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very
Well,
true.
well, thank you so much for joining us today. Your great interview. And again, thank you for hosting our mentor kickoff today. Again, it's got a great vibe, for lack of better words.
Vibe.
So
Nice.
yeah,
All right.
and thank you so much for joining us. See you next time on Teen Innovators.